because I know we have some challenges the other time.
Yeah, I
Okay.
know. But I don't want to go live now. So,
Uh,
okay, hold on.
okay.
I will come back.
No problem.
Oh, danke vielmals. Schön. Okay, Babatunde said they will join soon. Ah, okay. Okay, danke. Ah, somebody's here. This is Babatunde.
Hello,
Yes, Babatunde.
good day, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
They will join the session now. Yes,
Okay.
yes.
Okay. So let's wait for them.
I hope you are feeling better now.
Yes, I feel a bit better. Thank you. Thank you.
Vanessa is in.
Mm-hmm. Great. Vanessa, can you hear me?
Hi, Vanessa. Vanessa, how are you?
Vanessa.
Yes.
Hi,
Vanessa, are you there?
Vanessa.
Hi, Madeline. How are you?
Better. I'm sorry for yesterday. I couldn't make it, so I'm sorry. I tried to get in touch with you, but I think I lost your contact. So
I
I
don't
hope.
have your contact actually.
Yeah, that's why.
I don't think we exchanged numbers, but we can do that later. You can
Yeah.
ask Babatunde for my contact.
Of course,
That
no,
will
but
be
I
okay.
hope this will not happen again. I felt bad and went home and slept off completely and wake
Wow.
up very late. And yeah, that was it. So would you like to share maybe to see your camera so that we can check that quickly? We have 3 minutes to go.
Yeah, I don't know what it's not. Let me check what it's not projecting out here.
Good.
Hello, Mr. Adio.
Yes.
Good morning, Mr. Adio.
Hi.
How are you doing today? You are on mute. But you have to unmute your microphone, Mr. Adio.
Yeah. Done now. How are you doing today?
Oh, good. Hello.
Great.
Okay, maybe let us do quickly. We are a little bit in a hurry of the time, so maybe I will make you first co-host so that Vanessa can see the audience, and you are able, worst case, to mute some people if they are not behaving good.
Correctly. Okay.
Correctly, yeah.
That's good.
But we will do that, but just that you know.
Okay, good.
Here. So now you
It's good
should
to
be.
have you. It's good to have you here, Mr. Adio.
Yeah,
Yes.
it's my pleasure
Yes.
joining the team, Avikuna team. You are doing a great job. I wish you all the best.
Thank you. MasterClass is doing a good job as well. So we welcome everybody.
Yes.
So maybe can you try just to share quickly so that we see that we don't have technical issue, the slide?
Okay.
Yeah, that's important.
Let me share my.
Madeline, I think Vanessa is okay, right?
Yes, of course. Yeah.
All right.
Share.
Good morning, Vanessa. Are you fine now?
Okay.
Okay, good. Maybe you make two big screens so that we.
Okay. Only host.
Maybe you make 2 slide view so that it looks nicer.
Okay.
Because that is what you're gonna do when Vanessa gonna.
Are you okay now?
Yes, exactly. So
Okay.
that is how it has to be once you start your presentation.
Okay.
Okay, so
Okay.
maybe you can stop sharing. I think
Okay.
that should work.
Okay.
Okay, and then of course Vanessa will guide you through. I hope you both have the script.
I do. I didn't share it because I finished it late. But just to give you a few hints, Mr. Adio, I will present. We'll talk a little bit about you, and then we'll go to a break. And when we come back for the break, I will reintroduce you, and then you will have 1 hour for the presentation.
Sounds good.
Then we go to commercial break, and we have Q&A.
Okay.
I close Q&A. We have another commercial break, if I'm not wrong, Madeline. And then after that, I come and we do the closing.
Okay.
So that's the outline for today.
Okay, please, Vanessa, help us, especially us two, so that we know exactly when we have to get into action. Okay?
Okay.
Okay, just give me 1 second.
No problem. Anyway, I'm gonna play some music. We will have time. You will have time to concentrate on your smile and be happy, be relaxed. You did a great job last time, so it will be the same this time. Okay? Okay. Breathe good and smile, and then we go.
There, I'm ready. Ready as I'll ever be, sir.
Okay. Okay, then let me prepare the rest, and then we are ready to go. Okay, keep smiling. See you soon. The other who I put co-host, please let the people in, because once I share, I can't let the people in. Thank you.
Okay.
Not you, our team members. You don't have to do anything unless there is big disturbance. Okay, we go live.
Stop selling a mina wa country. Stop supporting the bad politic. Stop telling us your story about democracy. Because all we want is our freedom, yeah. Africa wants it with responsibility. We want our freedom. We want our freedom, yeah. We want our freedom, Africa. We want our freedom, yeah, yeah. We want to live independently, to create ourselves independently. If that's not possible, we will populate your continent. If 'tis the contrary, we will continue to come here. Spend the day in the desert on the ship, and you will continue to treat us like no paper. That's why I'm saying we want our freedom here. Stop to refuse us, to reject us, to deport us, We want our freedom.
We want our freedom, yeah.
We want our freedom, Africa.
We want our freedom, yeah, yeah.
Africa, Africa, tosalela nde kimya, totika kobunda, totika koswana, otozali banso bana tata moko, toyokana, tosalisana, tolingana, oh Africa.
Reconnais combien de mots reparlent pas les mêmes phrases. Combien de temps l'Afrique sera toujours enfermée là, pendant que les autres sont toujours en train d'avancer. Nous sommes toujours en train de reculer. On veut liberté. We want our freedom.
We want our freedom, yeah.
We want our freedom, Africa.
We want our freedom, yeah, yeah.
Ce morceau est dédicacé à l'un des grands combattants africains, son honorable, le cher Thomas Sankara, qui s'est battu pour l'Afrique, pour sa liberté. La patrie, on vaincra.
Hello, everyone. I am Vanessa Romero Brito, connecting from Caracas, Venezuela, and I will be your host for today. On behalf of the MasterClass Initiative and Africunia TV, I'm thrilled to welcome you to our session. The MasterClass Initiative is truly pleased to bring another insightful and impactful session for you, as you can expect. We sincerely thank all our partners, especially Africunia TV, for enabling us to bring you quality content at your convenience from whatever you are in the world, and such a relevant concept today. Our guest facilitator is Mr. Salihu Adewole Adio, a chartered health and safety practitioner, member of the International Institute of Risk and Safety in Management in UK, a project HSE manager for QVS Construction, founder and CEO of Cityful Pharmacy Ltd in Nigeria, the founder and CEO of Africa Innovation Consulting ATC in Nigeria-based company that is dedicated to focus on digital skills acquisition and consultancy. His topic today will be crisis management and company rituals. Over the next 2 hours, we will have 1 hour of presentation followed by a 30-minute Q&A session. We will wrap up the session with some music, so please don't rush off. The masterclass is being recorded, so don't worry, you can catch the video later on Africunia TV, Facebook, and YouTube pages. Before I introduce our facilitator, we will have a short break and be right back. follow back, just some rules I need to highlight before we continue. Please keep all your microphones muted until the Q&A session. Prepare your questions during the talk and type them in the chat box, or you can raise your hand at the moment of the Q&A session and make your questions yourself. We welcome you to follow us on the social media to stay tuned with our upcoming events. So let me introduce our esteemed speaker for the hour. A man currently based in Qatar, where he has been a quality health, safety, and environmental professional for the last 10 years. Mr. Adio, with no further ado, the audience is yours.
Yeah. Good afternoon, everybody. Hello.
Hello, good afternoon.
Yeah, it's my pleasure to join this team of Africania. You guys are doing fantastically well. I'm very sure today will be very fantastic as we move into the topic of discussion. Just stay cool. Can I go on?
Yes, go ahead, Mr. Adio. You have control now, so you can share your screen and start your presentation.
Great.
The time is yours.
That's good. Yeah. Yeah. Today, our topic of discussion is crisis management and company restructure. You will agree with me that this topic at this point in time of the world is very, very essential. We need to discuss it till everybody understand the concept of crisis management and company restructure, because this is not a topic or a concept that is only applicable to the work environment alone. It is applicable to every part of our life as a human being. So I'm going to move into this topic one after the other. So now, what is crisis management? Crisis management is how to deal with an unexpected situation, a situation whereby it's not been planned for, a situation whereby it just occurs. Then when it occurs, what is our plan of action? So it can also be defined as arresting threats to harm organization or individual or group of people. Then it's also controlling disasters. It might be industrial, natural, or communal. Then also preventing crisis escalation. These are the meaning of crisis management that we need to understand in order to know how to go about it, how to manage it effectively to reduce the implication of crisis, whether in a family, in a community, and at a global scale, or in an industrial setup. Yeah. Then, what are the causes of crisis management? Crisis can be natural, as I've said. It could be triggered up by a fire outbreak in a company setup, in a house, building, residential area, or just a leisure in an hotel, or anywhere. It could occur anywhere. We've had crises like earthquake that is engulfing a whole of community. So it can be building collapse during building, after building, and so on. Then, for instance, one of the greatest crises that has befall humanity in recent times is the issue of the COVID-19 pandemic, which we are still in it. The world is just trying to crawl out of the pandemic. So then it can also be employees' misconduct or workplace violence. Then it can also be industrial accidents or incidents that lead to crisis. Then we've witnessed so many unionist protests that lead to crisis. We've seen activists protesting and leading to crisis. We've seen salary issue in company organization leading to crisis. We've seen when people are mass sacked in where they are working and they are earning their livings, that they turn to protest, then it leads to crisis. Then we've seen a situation where there an injustice to workers or injustice to set of people lead to crisis. These are the issues that brings about crisis in our life as human beings. Then we have a lot of natural occurrences, tremor, earthquake, flood, and a lot of other things that resulted in crisis. For instance, in recent years, we've witnessed fire, serious fire in Canada, serious fire in USA, serious fire in Australia, in Mexico, and across the world like this. These are things that trigger crisis at every point in time of humanity. The life of humanity has never been devoid of crisis. And that is why this concept is very, very essential for us to understand. Yeah, okay, I've mentioned mass protests that can lead to crisis, causes of crisis. So the next level is, why is crisis management important to us? One, the globe as a place needs peace. Without peace, during the crisis, there's no peace. So in that case, the universe as a whole, for us to get a peace, we need a very good concept of crisis management, because we cannot live without it. It is almost natural, because if we are not doing things that will necessitate crisis, but some natural occurrence will necessitate crisis. In that sense, we need to prepare. And for us to get peace that the world needs, we need a very good concept of crisis management to be institutionalized into our system, whether in the company, in the government, or whatever, at any level at all. Then also, there's organizational production progress. Every organization, every industrial setup, you want to achieve your production targets. The only thing that gives you that confidence to achieve your organizational progress or target is an environment that is devoid of crisis. If there is crisis in your organization or in the industrial setup, believe me, the production target for that period of time cannot be achieved. So we need, as a family, as an industrialist, as a government, as anything at all, we need to put in place a very good concept of crisis management. So that is one of the importance of crisis management, for us to achieve our organizational production progress or our organizational production goal. Safe course of crisis management. Crisis management is one thing that entails a crisis as a whole. We spend a lot of money, a lot of resources, a lot of time to control crisis. So in this situation, if you have a very good concept of crisis management in place, believe me, we will spend less to control it when it happens, because everything will have been, all the course of actions will have been put in place, and when it happened, everything will just be triggered. Okay, this is your responsibility, you do it. This is the next line of action. This is the next line of action. This is the next line of action. Then before we know it, everything will be well managed. And instead of spending millions to control or to arrest the situation, we spend little to make sure that things are under control, and we recorded less injury or less loss, or within short time, things will be put in place. So then, preserve the organizational reputation. Now, a very good crisis management will always give a very good image to the organization. You will have a very good reputation because you have been known. For instance, across the world, we have some organizations that they are reputed for very good crisis management. I can start mentioning, but we know them around the world. That, for instance, now, in the oil and gas industry, they used to have a very good organizational crisis management in place. Despite that, we have witnessed several situations of incidents in the oil and gas incidents, that the Gulf of Mexico is there, and a lot of other one is there, which has cost us a lot. But despite that, we need to put in place a very good crisis management so that when it happens, we are not going to be overpowered. We'll be able to control and curtail the situation. So then, also the next need for crisis management is prevent loss of life, asset, and time. The more we are able to manage our crisis, the better. It reduces the loss of life. For instance, now, if there's a crisis, if you have a very good crisis management system in place, and immediately it happens, we trigger it off, and everybody play its role, believe me, those that sustain injury, we quickly rally around them, we call the emergency, everything well played out. I'm telling you, we will save life. Instead of losing more life, we will save more life, and we will save assets. For instance, now, assuming there's a fire outbreak in a building or in an hotel, a 5-star hotel, like 56 floors, yeah, and they have a very good crisis management. Once the fire started, the alarm was triggered, and everybody is aware that, oh, there's a fire. They call the civil defense, everything come there, the firefighting, everything there, and instead of before you know it, the fire was subdued, the fire was arrested, and it reduced the damage that it could have done if not the system is not, if assuming the system is not in place, or they did not quickly mobilize the civil defense and the firefighters. So once we do this one, we will prevent loss of assets. Then also time. For instance, in the fire engineering concept, you just need some seconds for fire to spread across, because it needs three things: the oxygen, the fuel, and the heat. Once these three things are present, fire can spread within a tick of us. Fire can spread within a tickle of ice. But if you have a very good firefighting system in place, coordinated with a crisis management, we will arrest the fire, and it will reduce the loss. And within short time, instead of spending too much time to put out the fire when it becomes big. Before it becomes big, we will arrest it. And that if we spend short time to arrest it, it is very easy for us, compared to allowing it to escalate beyond our control or taking more time to arrest it. Now, the next point there is to maintain law and order. Crisis management is a tool anywhere in the world, at any setup, to control law and order. Without a very formidable crisis management, believe me, we will have people, there won't be law and order. People will not obey law and order. Things will degenerate into chaos. Things will degenerate into anarchy. So in that case, at every point in time, whether at organizational level, at industrial level, at government level, at society level, at any level at all, we need to put in place a very good crisis management, because at any point in time, there could be crisis. It doesn't, the crisis you are saying is not only a crisis in terms of accident. It could be fighting between leadership of an organization. It could be fighting between colleagues in an organization.
Yes, Daddy.
It could be fighting between two communities. It could be fighting between two countries. It could be fighting between two regional powers. And we do Hello.
Yeah, go ahead. There is someone.
So we need a very good crisis management system to be able to actualize all what I've said. I've made mention of global peace, organizational production progress, its safe course of management of crisis when it's escalated, then preserve organizational reputation, prevent loss of life, asset, and time. Then we use it to maintain law and order. Yeah. Okay. What are the phases of crisis management? For a very good crisis management system, we must make sure it contains three very cogent phases. The first phase is pre-crisis management. Now, it entails two concepts: prevention and preparation. In this case, you as an organization, or as an individual, or as a community, or as a country, you need to have specialists sit down, they carry out assessment of the situation, they simulate different scenarios. If we have fire incidents, what are we going to do? Assuming we have flood, what is going to be our action? Assuming we have some people earthquake, what is our plan of action? So you will have simulate this one that, okay, this is what we do, this is what we do. You put a preparation and preventive system mechanism in place. And you rehearse time over the time. You never assume it will not happen. When crisis will happen, nobody can tell. And that is why it requires continuous preparation. You need to be prepared. You need to rehearse. You need to conduct mock drill regularly to keep people abreast of their responsibility during the crisis. Then the second phase of crisis management is crisis response. Yes, the crisis has happened. How do you deal with it? How do you handle it? How do you go about it? How do each and every one of us play our responsibility to ensure that we make sure that things are put under control within possible shortest time? The earlier we are able to control the situation, the better for us. The earlier we are able to make sure we bring the situation to a manageable level, the best for us. The best for us in terms of reducing the risk attached to the crisis, the best for us in terms of helping lives, the best for us in terms of spending more to control an escalated situation. So managing the crisis at hand require taking a bold decision. Okay, this has happened. What is the next line of action? Who is responsible? What time will it take to do it? What are the resources we need to do it? Immediately, during this phase, is always a spontaneous action. You don't have luxury of time to waste. You want to be thinking and acting at the same time. You want to be thinking and acting at the same time. You want to be reviewing and acting at the same time. It's a spontaneous reaction. And that is why it needs expertise. It needs people who are aware of crisis management to handle this situation when it happens. And if you don't have, once it happens, mobilize expertise, bring them in, let them come into your rescue and help you to make sure things are brought under control at a possible shortest time. So the next phase is post-crisis management. Okay, crisis has happened. We have tried all our best. We have put our crisis management plan into test. And we have seen how much we could do. And we have been able to identify our weakness, our strength, our opportunity, and our threats. So having done that, then you see now that, okay, what are the post-crisis management lessons that we have learned? The aftermath of the crisis and dealing with the same to ensure restoration. When crisis has happened, then the next thing is how to control it. Then having control it, the next thing is what go wrong? Where have we failed and where have we got it right? And we need to itemize and outline all these gains and itemize and outline all the loss. We need to do cost analysis. We need to do gap analysis. And we need to put all these correlations together to be able to learn, to know the lesson learned, and to be able to reinforce our system. And this is when you have a crisis management system plan or in place, these are one of the things that necessitate review. After the crisis, you'll be able to measure your worth. Once you measure your worth, then you go back and review the system. Once you review the system, all the gap analysis, what to come up with the gap analysis, then you go back and revise your system and put all those lessons learned there, meaning that once you revise your system, the next time you'll be able to do better because you have seen some gaps in your system, existing system, which you put to test when crisis happens. After the crisis, then you come back and review and revise and update your system. Yes, crisis management system and model. This is the model. This is a typical model that we use in crisis management system. I've explained it. Yeah, crisis management communication plan. Yeah, the same thing I've just explained, but I will just try to be more emphatic on some concept there, really. Stages of crisis management. First, what do we do during pre-crisis management? First, you monitor the crisis risk. Make decisions about how to manage potential crises, which I've said earlier. Train people who will be involved. Let me just try to explain better in this area of training. Believe me, training is very essential in crisis management system. Once you have plan system in place, you don't just keep it on your shelf. You need to constitute committee. You need to identify responsible people, then subject them or send them to training. Invite experts in crisis management system to train them, to give them the tips, to train them on the concept of crisis management system, how they will coordinate themselves, how they will utilize resources, and how they will communicate during the crisis system, how they will coordinate within themselves, how they will deploy the resources to manage the situation, then how they will coordinate the people who are involved during the crisis to make sure that things are well managed and they do it according to the system and achieve the best result. Then, secondly, crisis itself, collect and process information for crisis team decision making. Yes, as I've said, immediately a crisis occurred or happened, the next thing is that the expertise come to play. They put on their thinking cap and started analyzing. I've said it's a simultaneous event. You need to start collecting data. As you are collecting data, you need to be analyzing it. As you are analyzing it, you need to be coming up with solution. And as you are coming up with solution, you put it to feed, you put it to test. And that is why it needs a teamwork. For each and every segment of this one, you have to make sure expertise are there. Okay, this is the risk. Okay, what are the solution? Okay, this is the solution. You send it to the next couple of people, they put it to test. Then after putting it to test, they send you back the data. You analyze it, how far has it work? As it solved the problem, if it has solved the problem. To what degree? To what extent? Can we achieve 100%? Can we do better than that? Have we performed excellently well? Okay, do we need more, or is okay? So these are the things we need to do. And at the same time, create and then disseminate crisis management messages to people that need it. For instance, now, how do we do this one? Assuming there's a fire in a particular location, you need to go to radio station. You need to send information to television station so that they start broadcasting it. They start telling people that, oh, don't go to so location. There's a fire in Eastern USA. In a particular location, please, everybody should change their direction. Nobody should go there. Meanwhile, the road will have been blocked and the security personnel will have stationed themselves in strategic places just to make sure that nobody comes in. Because our ability to reduce the number of people that come into that area at that point in time give us the opportunity to be able to control the number of floods eventually. But if people don't have information, they run into a crisis, then they can be engulfed with the crisis. Yes, post-crisis, assess the crisis, assess the crisis management efforts. I've said it, provide follow-up, crisis message as needed. As I've said, we need to assess our performance after crisis has been subdued, after we have controlled the situation. We will revise, we will assess what we have done, and wherever there's a failure or there's a gap, then we will make sure that we look for solution and put it as part of our revise for the system. So the readiness, response, reassurance, and recovery. These are the stages. Emergency management plan. Yes, this is very, very important. It's not only for industrial purpose, it's for any organization, corporate organizations, even in our respective estates or building or home or wherever, or in our business, we can as well put emergency management plan in place. What is a management plan? A management plan is for you to look at your surroundings and just envisage what could happen. One of those first things that should come to mind is, okay, if there's a fire outbreak, what is our plan? If there is a water upsurge that leads to flood from anywhere, how do we go about it? If there's just a gunshotting now, the sporadic gunshotting, what is our emergency plan? If there's an earthquake now, what is our emergency plan? So these are situations that we need to put in place in emergency management plan. How do we manage it? If we need some people to be evacuated, how do we evacuate them? If we need people to move to the assembly point, how do we do it? If we need people if we need disabled people to be given a wheelchair, do we have it? Have we keep it somewhere that we not just be running a task when it happens? So these are the situations. So once you have your emergency management plan on ground, then you make sure you train your people. You just have to train your people about the concept that I put in place. Okay, this is an organization, you are working in this 5-star hostel, this is our emergency plan, and this is our evacuation plan. Okay, if there is a fire, wherever you are, this is where you move to. This is an escape route. You follow like this, you go like this. You don't use, at this point in time, you don't use you don't use your lift. You go through the step because you can be trapped down in the lift. So it is better you use your step. It's always the escape route, and that is why the steps need to always be keep clean and unobstructed. Because if there's an obstruction, then if there's a crisis, people can be trapped, people can fall while trying to escape. Then also you need to put signages to tell people, okay, emergency escape route, exit route, go like this, come here. So, and people have to station themselves at strategic places to coordinate and to look after people, to assist them, those that are stressed up, those that need hands, those that need this. So all those things need to be put in place. So meanwhile, after train people about your emergency management plan, then you will not hold it there. You need to be train your people, what we call emergency evacuation drill. You can do it every 3 months. It can be done every 6 months. It can be done yearly. It depends on the number of the people you are dealing with. And for me, we have seen across the globe, the only people that we know that they are keeping to this concept are the organizations, industrial setups. But it doesn't mean in our estate, we can institutionalize this concept. And maybe once or twice in a year, we can conduct emergency evacuation. That if we have a crisis in this community, how do we evacuate ourselves? How do we coordinate ourselves? Where do we go from here? How do we reduce the risk? How do we assist people not to lose their life? So this is it. Then I've said the constitute emergency team, those that we manage the system. We need to constitute them, and they need to know themselves that I have this responsibility, and once it happens, I have to play this role. Then train them on their role and responsibilities during the crisis. I've said that. Install, inspect, and maintain emergency resources regularly for readiness anytime. I will try to explain a little bit deeper here. In most cases, we have things in our homes that we just keep it there. For instance, you are living in a suite in an hotel for the past 10 years, and you have seen a portable fire extinguisher just hanged at the entrance of your room. You just always pass by, you never check to see whether it's pressurized or depressurized. No, you don't do that. You have seen a smoke detector. You never put it to test whether it's working or not. You have seen an alarm. You never just put it on just to know if it is working. We need to have people, specialized people, whose their responsibility will be to check on regular basis all the installations that has to do with emergency management system, especially the firefighting system. They have to check it regularly, inspect it, maintain it where it is necessary, just to make sure that these things are always at readiness. They are ready. And if at any point in time we have crisis, we can always be rest assured. We can have the reliability that they will function as expected. Then also, we need to do risk assessment of foreseeable crisis. We just look at it. Okay, we have a dam close to our building, our residence. For those of us that we are living close to beach, some people are living close to beach. Just be thinking that there might be upside of that beach one day, and the wave will just cover every place and possibly subdue the building. Then what do we do? What is the emergency plan for that? Do we have an established channel that once the water overflow its boundary, then we just open the channel and the water will go there and we save people? So you need to think like that. If you are living close to, possibly you are living close to a chemical industry, you need to be thinking that, oh, one day you will remember what happened in Bhopal in India. There's a chemical company in that region, and at a point in time, that chemical company mistakenly their chemical leaked into the community, and it kills a lot of people. It kills a lot of people. So we should be thinking that, oh, this is a chemical company close to us, just 5 kilometers. there might be mistake one day and there might be crisis. How do we move? What do we do? So we need to think like this, that, okay, what will be our plan of action? So this is how to prepare. These are things that we need to think and reason out during risk assessment and put in place control measures. Once we have control measures in place, believe me, when it happens, we'll be able to deal with the crisis and we'll control it, and it will come to a manageable level. Yes, whatever is our strategies, we need to communicate with the workforce in the organization or in the community or across the country. That we are going to the rainy season, and there's possibility, according to meteorologists, there's possibility they are forecasting that there will be flood this year, and they have mentioned some strategic hot spots. So those hotspots, they need to be at alert, whether to evacuate. You see, so many times we have so many storms in America and other parts of the world that they will tell them, oh, people from the eastern, you need to evacuate. People from, you see, there's a one for the past 3 months now, go around forgotten the area. So it's affected a lot of things in America. So, but some of them, they have warned them that, okay, we are expecting this hurricane, please move from this region, go to this region, or change your accommodation, or don't remain in your area. These are things we need to do regularly, especially the expertise, the municipalities, the government. They need to bring the information to people's aware, and they need to tell them what to do during the course of events. Yes, it is very essential. It doesn't matter. Everybody in every community or in every organization must have emergency contact details of those that are responsible for emergency, so that when it happens, you know who to call for help. You know, you cannot just think that, okay, I have this and I'll be able to deal with it once it happens. Don't think like that. You cannot be sure of the magnitude of what will happen. You might be overpowered. You might need additional hand. And that is why you need to have emergency contact detail for any crisis. That, okay, once it's fire, I have civil defense number, I will call them. Then, if it is flood, I have water department, I will call them. If it is anything, if it is fighting or some, if it is domestic violence, then you have the number of the police. You must ring them and call them and bring them before somebody dies. So we need to have emergency contact details. Even not as an elderly person, we need to teach it to the younger ones. It has to be in their medulla oblongata that at any point in time, if you have any crisis, please call this number. Somebody will come to your assistance within a short period of time. Yes, having done all this, at every point in time, we need to review whatever plan we have in place, review it and update it. Yes, crisis and incident investigation. Now, for every crisis, there is always the root cause and immediate cause. Nothing just happened. But perhaps you have been seeing some signs of the fact that, okay, at this point in time, there is possibility that this will happen. For instance, if there's during the dry season in some part of the world, you must know that you should reinforce your fire management system at that point in time. Your fire management, emergency management system should be reinforced during the dry season, because the temperature will be so high and the possibility of fire being ignited with a little spark or a little mistake somewhere is very high. So that is one example. For instance, now, there are some seasons, during the rainy season, you must know that you need to prepare for flood. You need to prepare in case there is a flood. In case there is too much rain and it leads to flood. So you must prepare for that. Then, for instance, now, in a community or in an industrial setup, whereby you hold like 6 months salary to your workers, you must go and prepare for crisis. Because at a point in time, the workers will just get fed up and tired up, then they will just start protesting and start vandalizing things. So whatever action is going on at every point in time, these are things we need to analyze. We need to analyze it to prepare for crisis. So, but once it happens, what do we do? And that is what led us to incident investigation. We want to investigate. We want to carry out some findings to determine, to uncover what is the genesis of the situation. So secure the crisis location, people and access. First thing when crisis happen is how do we secure the location? People are fighting. The first thing is how do we separate them? There's a fire. The first thing is how do we stop this fire? There's a flood. The first thing is that, okay, how do we control this flood? So you need to secure whichever area that there's a crisis. If you are in the meeting in the boardroom and there's a discussion and all of a sudden the voice starts rising and people start slapping themselves, then the next thing is that how do we put them apart? Then how do we bring normalcy and calmness to the situation, and how do we resolve the issue? So, yeah. Then the next thing is to start gathering data. Gathering data from the eyewitness of the situation. Interview people, tell people, ask people what happened. These are very, very important. Take pictures, collect samples, record voices with permission. Don't record anybody without permission. Just seek for their permission and go ahead if they grant you. If they don't grant you, just stop it. Mobilize medical emergency. As you are doing this, you need to have called medical emergency. Hello, good afternoon. May I talk to somebody? Yeah, we have a problem here. We need medical team. Can you send that here? Where are you talking from? I'm talking from Edinburgh, UK. Okay, where particularly in UK? In Edinburgh. Okay, so street, so this. Okay, somebody will write there. We are on the way. Then you keep your line open. You keep your line open. You don't call emergency and turn down your line because they need to be tracking you along the way. As they are moving, they will be tracking you. They want to connect you. They want to ask you some information. Oh, is there any casualties? Okay, no casualties. Okay, what is the situation? Somebody is feeling this thing. Okay, you can put it in this position. You can move it here. You can send it there. Okay, we are coming. Do this, do that. They will be communicating with you. So you need to be very, very alert and keep your line open. As the emergency people arrive, they want to get data. They want to get information just to know what and what to do for you and what and what to do as they arrive at the location. Yes. So, yeah. Calm down all warring parties. Persevere to people. Talk to people. Tell them, no, this situation will soon calm down. We are passing through a lot, but we know, but relax. We are taking care of everything. Things are being under control. Even if it's not under control, give them that assurance. That assurance goes a long way to reinforce their own confidence also. That no, something is being done. We will soon pass through this level. So it's very, very important. Yes. So having tried to calm down the situation immediately, don't waste time. Constitute crisis review panel. Bring people together, let them, the data you have collected, make sure they review it. Interview stakeholders on the crisis. After the crisis, go and meet stakeholders. Sorry. Go and meet stakeholders and tell them and ask for them their perspective about the crisis. They will give you some insight that you can analyze to make an informed and a very good and effective decision. Yes. Collect all the data available to you. Prepare reports with recommendation. Submit to the community. Send copy to the local authority or municipality. Send send it to police. Make sure everybody have the report that this is our recommendation. Subsequently, if you do this, if you go here, if you do that, things will be better managed. Or if there's anything that is lacking in your community or in your organization, you can tell the management. The last time we bought fire extinguisher for this office was 10 years ago. And we discovered that all the fire extinguishers, we have 25, and the 25, they are expired. They cannot do anything. The last time we sent people for emergency training was 5 years ago. And out of 10 people we sent there, 8 people have left the organization, only 2 remaining. You know we have failed there.
Mr. Adio,
Yeah.
a question. Now that you're talking about how much time can pass between the revisions that you have done from the material or the trials that you have to, which period of time would you recommend to review your crisis management protocols, and how often do you advise to make drills and triads of how to handle the organization movement of people during a crisis management, like once a year, every 6 months, every 2 years? What will be your thoughts on that?
That's good, Vanessa. It's a good question. From a specialist perspective, a crisis or emergency management system has situations that necessitate their review. First, if any crisis happens, after the crisis, you must review your emergency management system. That is one. 2, if there is changes in the system of the company, maybe you are using analog system before, for instance, an Africuna. If you are using analog system before, then the management agreed that, we need to move to digital. After you move to digital, you must review your previous emergency management system to be in line with the current technology. What you will do to manage emergency emergency in digital situation is different from what you will do in analog system. So you will do that. Technology changes demand emergency management review. That is 2. 3, if there is change in location, you are operating in Birmingham, London, then you move to Edinburgh or Aberdeen, you must review your emergency management system. The system in Birmingham is different from the system in Aberdeen. You should review your emergency management system. That is, let me stop there. So now the next level is that you need to train your people at least once in a year. At least once in a year. And after each crisis, you must retrain your people. There should be a refresh training for them about emergency management system, because that is where you will train them on the lesson learned during just happened crisis. So those are things that need that make sure. But if nothing happens, at least once in a year, you should train your people, you should refine your system, you should update it. At least once in a year. Everything has to be revised and updated.
That's very interesting. And another question before you continue, we are closing to our time, is what for new companies or for companies that doesn't have a crisis management system, where do you recommend to go to find this information? Because it's different when you have already a system that you are just reviewing and updating, that someone that is starting a new company and wants to take all the preventions that you mentioned that are quite important, and where they can go, or is there any, I don't know, sites or information besides the places you work with? Of course, you are a specialist in the matter. Where they could go.
That's good. That's a very brilliant question there. Yeah, see, there are crisis management professionals, health, safety, and environment managers across the globe. UK is our headquarters across the globe. We have Institution of Occupational Health and Safety Management in UK, based in UK. It's more than a century in existence. That is one. You can approach IOSH. They will help you out. That is one. 2, there are professionals across the world. Once you go to Google, I need a crisis manager, or I need a professional emergency management expert who can assist you to put one plan in place. They are available. That is 2. 3, if you also if you have some remedial knowledge of this, you can go to Google, download the system, then look at situation that you want to manage. Then you will get information that you can use to generate your plan. It may not be as effective as that one prepared by the experts, but you will have something in place. But the best thing is to employ an HSC professional or emergency management professional or a crisis management professional for your organization. Just hire somebody, send him or her for training, and give him or her the responsibility that, look, this is what we want you to do for us in this organization. Anything we want you to take care of the health, safety, and environmental system of this company. And he knows that part of his responsibility is to take care of the crisis management in that organization for you effectively.
Very interesting, very interesting.
So, and besides, you can take me as a consultant as well. I will put one in place for you.
Great.
So can I move on?
Yes, please.
Yeah, crisis management control. I'm getting to the end. Sure. Yeah. See, one of those things that brings crisis in our respective places is injustice, lack of equity, and lack of fairness. We need to ensure that there's justice wherever we find ourselves. Believe me, if there's no justice between the family, the mother and the father, or the husband and the wife, there will be chaos. There will be crisis every day. If there's no equity, if there's no fairness, there will be crisis. Within an organization, if the CEO or the managing director is doing some vaporism, is doing some things that is not being justice in his dealing with his workers, there will be crisis shortly. If it's not being fairness to people, there will be crisis. In a community, if the community leaders are not being fair to the member of the community, there will be crisis soon. In a country, if the leaders are not being fair, justice, and ensure equity for everybody, believe me, we need to be expecting crisis very soon. So it's everywhere. Even in the animal world, in the animal kingdom, there used to be crisis. If the elder ones are not being fair to the younger ones, maybe they have a food and the elder ones finish everything and they don't give to the younger ones, believe me, maybe they can conspire to hit the bigger ones, but there will be crisis because there is no equity, there is no fairness, and there's no justice. So these two things are precursors to the crisis being erupt in anywhere. Now, secondly, we need to encourage diversity and inclusion in every organization. For instance, we've had brilliant women or ladies managers who in the corporate world who have done fantastically well, even than a man or a male. I give you an example of Angela Merkel of Germany. Anytime I see the woman, I give it to her. She's doing fantastically well. We have had some other ladies who have showcased the power, the intelligence that is lying in the women, that they can lead and lead successfully. They are home managers. They are not just an home manager, they are humanity manager. They can manage everything. Everything, just name it. The women have that much capacity and intelligence. So we should give them place. We should include them. Then also, color. See, what we need, we are the same blood run in our blood. Whether you are white, you are black, you are brown, you are red, you are green. One thing is that we are all humanity. When there is a problem, you go to hospital, if they need blood donation, they will not ask whether this blood is from a black man or gay or from a white. What you need is a blood. What they will ask is, what is your blood type? Are you O positive, A positive, AB like this? Once they have, that is what they need. They don't want to know whether the color or what. So we need to be careful. We need to include ourselves. We need to see ourselves as a one humanity, one world, one humanity. avoid nepotism, favorism, impunity, indiscipline. This happens in different organizations. Because the CEO is having a girlfriend or is having somebody from his region in the company, so he comes today just as a possibly as a PRO to the organization. The next day they promote him to the manager. The next day they promote him to the director. While people who have been in the organization for the past 10, 15 years are still at the same position. These are things that cause crisis in the workplace. We need to be very careful. Impunity. When people misbehave, you need to make sure that you follow the company rituals. You follow the company ethics. You follow the company norms and value to deal with the situation. Not because it's your brother or because it's your wife's sister. Then you just keep quiet while he's being committed blunders. You cannot call him on hard to order. No, don't do that. Bring him back to the straight path. Tell him what him or her has done is not acceptable. But doing this and this and this will have been the best. And that person will come to his senses and take the correction and do the right thing. And that will nip this crisis in the bud. Indiscipline. For instance, it is written that in this organization, we resume by 8 a.m. in the morning and we close by 5 p.m. in the evening time. You know that has been informed to you during your initial orientation while you are joining the company. They tell you their working hour, clearly written and clearly known to you. But every day you are coming at 10 a.m. to join the work. And when they ask you, you don't have any serious reason. So, and once you come by 3 o'clock, by 3 p.m., you carry your bag and say you are going. Where in what they are doing that? That will not be acceptable. So you are calling for crisis. You must be disciplined. You must be disciplined. You must respect your colleagues at work. You must give people fair hearing. These are things that control crisis that prevent crisis in our place of work. Don't showcase indiscipline. Be disciplined. Make sure you follow the company's ethics. Yeah, ensure adequate training on workplace conflict management. It doesn't mean you must have conflict experts in your organization. If you don't have that resources to do that, you can commission an expert who will come regularly into your company, give you training, give you the latest tests, trends in crisis management, and you'll be okay for that. And when you need to put any system in place, plan anything, you give it to him, he prepare it, bring it to the company, and you pay him off. Yeah. Ensure there's regular promotion for who merit it. Imagine somebody come to a company for the past 5 years, no salary increment, no promotion. This is not fair enough. It's a call for conflict. Then when people perform brilliantly well in your organization, for instance, if you give them targets that, okay, we have this proposal, we need to prepare it within 2 days, submit it to our client, defend it and do presentation and get the contract, then they all, instead of closing by 5 o'clock, they put more extra time, they put more extra energy. At the end of the day, if they get that thing straight through and got the contract, you don't need them to tell you. You must compensate them extra just to motivate them, to encourage them. Next time, when the situation comes, they'll be ready to do. But if you got the contract, after they have sacrificed so much and you don't even look at their way, you say, okay, no, that is it. After all, I'm paying them their salary. No, you don't do that. You need to encourage people. You need to motivate people to do more and to continue to do more. So you need to compensate people. Yeah, next point, institute policy on gender-based conflict and sexual harassment. It is clearly known that there's a lot of sexual harassment and gender-based issues around our organization, industrial setup, community, like this. There's always which lead to crisis. We can manage it perfectly. Look, we are human beings. The reason why God has created us, male and female, is to mingle and is to have relationship with ourselves. But there is a clear way to it. There's a process that leads to it. We don't just dump on people or take advantage of people. You know, we've had increase in the rate of raping and some other things, which is very, in fact, when you hear some news of these issues, you feel, what is this? What has humanity become? Have we become an animal? Why can we not just use our brain? Why can we not just reason and do things in the best way? So we have to control gender-based and sexual harassment within our organization, within our community, within our home, like this. So create emergency management techniques, communicate it to all staffs. Create crisis and disciplinary committee. Yes. In every organization, it is essential. It's not even an organization. In the community, in a university system, you need to have crisis or crisis disciplinary action committee, that if anything happen within the organization, you just send those that are involved to that committee. They will call them for meeting. They will ask them what has happened. They will give them the information. They will analyze it, and they will come to conclusion. And they will submit report to the management that this issue that has happened, we have conducted our findings, we have met the warring parties, and this is our report. And the management will look at the report, and they will come out with their conclusion. Engage in regular dialogue. Dispute resolution is very, very important. When there is crisis or dispute within the organization, don't just close your eyes. You need to be involved. If you are not involved at the early stage, it will degenerate into a very big one, and you may not be able to resolve it till it costs you very serious resources. I think this is the last slide. Company rituals. Yeah, I've said a lot. Some of things that I've said happen to be company rituals in my course of talking, but how do we go about it? Company rituals can be termed as company norms, ethics, or values. For instance, if you join some organizations, they will take care of your children's education. They will take care of your accommodation. When you are going for annual leave, they will give you your salary as if you work for that month. They will give you flight, including your family. They will pay for it. If you join some organization, all this that I've mentioned, you are not entitled to it, because it's not in their value, it's not there in their ethics, it's not in their system. For instance, if you join some organization as a lady, this is what we are saying. They will tell you for the next 3 years you cannot get pregnant. Am I right, Vanessa?
Yes.
Am I right?
Definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yes. So this is not good. We need to be flexible. We need to consider that ladies are our mother, and their system is subject to changes with time. And when they need it, maybe the husband wants to travel, say, okay, I need you to accompany me to America. I have a presentation in Texas next week. So please just tell them at your place of work. We should be flexible. We should be flexible. Or, okay, I'm going for maternity leave. Then we should know that, okay, in our company policy, we have just only 1 month. Where on this earth is 1 month is sufficient as a maternity leave? No. The minimum should be 3 months and 6 months, if possible. And we should pay them. And when they come back, we should be ready to integrate them into the system. So these are very, very ethics that our company rituals that we need to review and include in our company rituals. So where non-adherence to them can violate rituals and leading to crisis. Yeah, sure. If you are not adhering or staying by these things, it can cause us a lot of things within our company. It will lead to crisis. We will lose capable hands. Organization orientation, induction into company rituals. When you employ people, don't just employ them. Organize induction for them. Tell them the rituals of your company. Let them know when to resume and when to close. Let them know how much annual holiday or annual vacation they are entitled to every year. Let them know, are they entitled to annual flight ticket or not? Let them know that is your company sponsoring their children for their education? Are you supporting them, or you are taking the whole bill? Are you giving them accommodation allowance? This thing you need to explain to them in a clear terms so that it not become a crisis or leading to litigation in the nearest future. Yeah, you should also train them regularly on company rituals. You need to re-echo it in their system that, oh, this is the company ritual, and you should also timely review and revise of the CR, company rituals. Very, very important. As the things change, as the situations or trends of things change, you need to review your system, update it, and when you update it, make sure you train your staff to be aware of the latest trends. Then you should encourage your staff to speak up. Let them talk, let them advise you. And once they advise you, take the advice and make sure you work with it. Ensure continual improvement. There should be continual improvement. Don't be a company that is using the same system of 1980 to operate in 2020. You are out of the system. You cannot make an edgeway. So you need to revise your system regularly. So, dear friends, colleagues, sisters, brothers, mothers, fathers, it's my pleasure to be with you this afternoon. And at this point in time, I think I've come to the end of my slides. And the next level is question and answer. I'll be very glad. Although Vanessa has done a very good, fantastically well, throw like 2 questions to me, very excellent questions. And I think I've been able to answer it to the best of my knowledge and to the satisfaction of the entire audience. So I'll be very ready to answer more questions. Thanks, everybody. Thanks for listening.
Thank you, Mr. Adio.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mr. Adio. Thank you, the audience, for staying with us in this very relevant and important topic, a serious one, and very insightful information from Mr. Adio. We're going to go for a short commercial break, and when we're back, we'll be opening the floor for Q&A. You can type your questions on the chat, or you can raise your hand at the moment and make the questions yourself live. So we'll be back very soon. Please stay tuned. So we are back. I hope you have all your questions prepared. And this is the time we're going to have around half an hour for you to make all your questions. So let's make this time count. We have a few comments on the chat, and they were talking about pregnancy situations and if you can hire or fire a pregnant woman. And in some countries, firing a pregnant woman is illegal. So I think all this information provided by Mr. Adio is very interesting. It needs to be compared with your legislation in every of your countries for each case. But it is important, as he was mentioning before, to have all these systems prepared and all these decisions prepared to manage not only the moment of crisis, as in earthquake or kind of a natural crisis, by minor crisis regarding the interaction with their employees. So that for that, I have a question that says that there's been a lot being talked about crisis management right now, especially with COVID. And it appears that the rituals are moving more towards managing people's times rather than people's works. And the person says, why are companies so reluctant to change? Because it is, in fact, we're kind of living a continued crisis during the COVID time, because most companies have had to shift completely from working in an office to having all the people working online. So I think that's a little bit what this question is directed to. What would you say, Mr. Adio, about it? Mr. Adio, can you hear me?
Okay, come again.
Did you get to hear the question
No.
that I made?
Please.
Okay, so I will repeat. That said, there is a lot of being talk about crisis management, especially during COVID, and this person's right on the chat. However, it appears that all the rituals from the company have been moving towards managing people's time instead of managing people's work. And why are companies so reluctant? And I think what she tries to say is that we are living in a constant crisis right now, or is the feeling of a lot of people during COVID, because companies passed to have the normal work on the office, and they're having most of their employees working from home. So there is a change, a paradigm change in that aspect, but there is still feel like this is a crisis. So why would you say that about managing people's time instead of people's work, and how is it affecting the companies right now?
Okay, thank you. Yeah. Well, see, COVID-19 is one crisis that befell humanity. It caught us unaware. When it started briefly in China, we never could believe it could degenerate to something that will engulf the entire world. For instance, people of 78 years, 60, they said, who are more older than us, they said they've never witnessed something like this since they have been living. Now, see, this is new normal. It has done to all of us that things are no more the way it used to be. That there is a situation that can change the way we live as humanity. Can you imagine a situation whereby we cannot shake hands? A situation whereby husbands feel reluctant to hug his wife. A situation whereby things are no more the way they used to be. For instance, now, one thing that I will tell you, the companies are always very selfish when it comes to their work. They prefer managing their work than using people's time with wherever way they can use it, and make sure to maximize their production and maximize their profit. For instance, when the issue happened, some companies, they are very reluctant to stop their operation and release their workers. So they keep them there. People keep coming, coughing, sneezing, and spreading the virus, instead of them to say, okay, we can switch on to online activities now. Let us work from remote. The same time we are using while you are at work can be dissipated while you are sitting in a comfortable place in your home with your system and working online and delivering the same standard or the same quality of work. But the issue is that the world has changed and the working ethics has changed. Both the working rituals, the time rituals, everything has changed. And I'm telling you, things might not go back to what it used to be again. Because for now, some companies, they have realized that, oh, sorry, so often that we are employing 100 people, so we can manage with 50 people and get the same thing. Oh, they will send some people packing. Then, okay, so we don't actually need this much set of people. They can actually work from the remote. Okay, we can do that. Okay, we don't actually need this much security to do this for us. Okay, no need. Okay, we don't actually need to go and rent an apartment and pay this huge amount of money. So we can actually operate from the online. So these are the things that have changed the time the people used to work, the work that people do. So things has actually changed. But the best thing is that for every decision that we take or for every system that we adopt, we should be fair, justice, and make sure that there's equity for humanity.
Yes, it's a complex situation. I have another question here. It says how these rituals are becoming relevant in the work from home scenario, because we're talking about crisis management in an office or in an office building, or these situations when you have a lot of people involved. But now that most part of the work has come to work on home during COVID quarantine, how these rituals can be implemented in a small area, a small scenario, to help the people that's working at home.
Yeah, good. If you remember, during the trend of my discussion, I try to balance the whole thing. I keep mentioning company, mentioning community, mentioning organization, mentioning family, mentioning individual. So now
Yes,
that
definitely.
most of what's are being done remotely or in our room, see, everything that I've said is applicable to every facet of life. Whether you are working as an individual, you are working as a team, you are working in an organizational setup, you are working as a community within an estate, or within the local municipalities, within the state, within the region, within the country, and within the globe. All these things is very, very essential. Wherever you find yourself, make sure you think of the next crisis and what is your plan. For instance, now you sit in your sitting room and you are working. You must make sure regularly you check your fire system, your fire extinguisher, your fire alarm, your exit routes or escape routes. You must check them and make sure, or smoke detector, you must check them and make sure they are functioning. Then you must check your phone and make sure it's working. If you need help and you ring it, it must work. It shouldn't be at the point where you need to make an emergency call, you pick your phone and it's not working. If you manage, if you check it regularly, when there is fault, you rectify it before you need it for emergency. That is one. Also, you must make sure that you are working from your home. You check your environment. Is everything okay? Is the level, if you need to put on your heater, is it regulated? These are things you have to do. In your kitchen, you must make sure that you don't just lose the number of gas without knowing, and the gas has circulated everywhere, and in a little bit of matches just ignited fire and lead to crisis. That is one. In the community, you must be, all of you must be police. You must watch the activities. If there's anything that could endanger the life of everybody, you should report to the authority, who will come to your aid in time. That is in the community now. If there's anything, for instance, there's a spot house that is causing problem along the road. Sometimes you don't need to wait. You can come as a community to put it in place, that to make sure you rectify, or you call those that are responsible to do it in time. Not that you are just passing, nobody is saying it, till it causes problem. So these are things, this presentation is very applicable to any level of facet of life. Wherever you are, think of crisis, put plan in place, and make sure the plan works when the time comes. And after you put the plans into work, review the situation, and if there's any gap or there's need for you to update, revise it, and make sure the system is updated.
Completing that question, I'm just merging two questions, but they're kind of related, because someone says, how do you handle life and work balance when there is homework is creating crisis in your family?
That is good. That is good. That is a brilliant question. Yeah, see, we have witnessed a situation whereby a lot of people, they will go to work, they will work the whole day, come back to their home, to their family home, or to their room with the remnants or the bulk of load again. The work he has done at the work, he come back home, he's not having time for his family, start doing again, typing or checking things. No, see, our system should be run in such a way that you finish your work at your working place, and come back to home and have time with your family, or if you don't have family, and relax to refresh your system to be better the following day, not work yourself through and get breakdown. That is it. And if you are working remotely, you must make sure that your family, they understand your working period, that between 8 a.m. and 2 p.m., daddy will be working, mommy will be working. So they give you that time. After that, you finish your work, you come back to your family, you relate to them, you have nice time with them. That is it. But a situation whereby you are combining, you are overworking yourself at the work, and you keep come back to your house again and start working, it's not the best. In terms of family, maintaining family relationship is not the best. In terms of health-wise, it's not the best. You will break down very soon. So we should balance it. We should make sure that the time for work is time for work, and when we come to family, we give them their time. If you don't do that, there will be crisis.
Okay, very interesting. I have a very interesting question, because there is someone that he has kind of a different interpretation of what a crisis is. He says that what part of the presentation, everything is really important into management skills, and not only in the low level, but in high ranks of managing a corporation. But all these situations, for him, it seems daily management. Besides, for him, crisis, it's a special situation like COVID, maybe a flood or a fire, or if you have an unexpected event or disorder with employees for a discussion or something of the sort. So for him, he asked, what do you see of his viewing or his interpretation of momentarily crisis, besides managing different complications that you can have during the working time?
Okay, well, I think apart from looking at crisis from the perspective of a very horrible situation, there are some also salient things that can lead to crisis, or that can cause crisis that we don't take cognizance of, in whether in our family or in the workplace. I will give you some examples. For instance, in a family, you know the cost of things is very high in the market now, and instead of looking at the trend of things, increase the money you are giving to your wife to buy things, you are giving him maybe just 10 pounds, and you know that 10 pounds cannot buy anything. Instead of giving 50 pounds, you are giving 10 pounds. That is a recipe for crisis. That is one. In an organization, you as a boss, you want people to perform. You are not giving them resources to perform. It's a recipe for crisis. You give them targets that, okay, we want to build this house within the next 6 months. They ask for cement, no cement. They ask for steel, there's no steel. They ask for water, no water. They ask for technical engineering drawings, no, nothing. Then how do you want them to perform? Okay, that is recipe for crisis. You have a conference in, let's say, Scotland, and you base in London. Then you said, okay, Mr. So and so, you will represent this organization in Scotland next week. So go and prepare yourself. Then let me know what you need to make it. Then they brought the plan to you, the bill or the proposal. Then when you look at the proposal, you look at it, oh, why you are bringing to me 15,000 pounds or $15,000? No, what the company have is just $5,000, which we only sponsor one person, and you want 3 persons to go. These are recipes for crisis. We need to make sure we manage resources, look at the situation holistically, and discharge or use the best resources to achieve our goal or our target. If you don't do that, there will be crisis. So it's not only this issue, there are a lot of things, activities that we engage in that are recipe for crisis.
Thank you. I found that very interesting, especially when you're talking about giving the resources for the people to achieve their objective. If let's just say that crisis management doesn't start when the crisis is presenting as a natural disaster, as a lockdown, as we're having now, or different situations of the particular height of the crisis. Crisis management start preparing and preventing all the situations that we can imagine, and maybe doing some scenario planning to avoid the arrival of a crisis. And of course, it's a lot of crises like COVID-19 that we could not prevent and that we could not imagine the impact that it will have worldwide. Yeah. That definitely crisis management, I will say as a summary of all that you say, very interesting, is preparing and giving the tools for the work to be done and avoid a crisis to come into place, because you are not doing that. So it's not just managing the problematic, it's going steps before and preparing for avoiding those crisis moments to arrive. And when they arrive, be aware that you are prepared to handle it when they come.
Sure.
Okay, let me check if I think I have. Well, one of the comments going to the work and life balance, and we were talking before, is avoid to pass down stress, and from work stress to home stress and home stress to work stress, because sometimes it happens, we're human. It's not like we can disconnect completely for what's happening to home when we are at work, and vice versa. But in these times, I think people has been having a little bit more trouble because work and home are at the same time. We don't have the commuting time from work to home to kind of relax and trying to leave the problems behind and arriving home and not coming to our spouses and our kids with whatever happening, because the problem is happening in your office or whatever room you prepare to work, and then home it's just the next door. So it's important to kind of go into a little bit of emotional intelligence and breathe and be aware of the situation to don't explode into the wrong people or the ones that are not involved.
Yeah. During this time around, we need to understand ourselves. The colleagues at the work, you need to understand yourself. The family, you need to understand yourself. There's this report. During this COVID lockdown, a lot of communal conflicts and violence has erupted because, for instance, as a family, maybe he will go to work, come back late in the evening, spend short time with his family, but these days, 24 hours, they are together. So demand is high for intimacy, demand is high for everything. So it causes a lot of chaos, but we need to understand ourselves. We need to sharpen our emotional intelligence to manage the situation. Otherwise, it will lead to crisis. For instance, now, possibly you are somebody that like to walk around, trek around, but you cannot do it during the COVID. Then that same objective can be achieved within your room. You can trek, jump, do a lot of gymnastic activities within the confines of your place. Then you will achieve the same objective as you are walking around or moving around. If you are playing around with your dog, you can do it within your place also. That is all those things. We need to look at it and make sure that we live this new normal to the best of our ability, and to achieve a very good and sound health, as it has been identified as a good weapon to find this situation, not to run into depression and not to run into any other crisis that can compromise our health status. Emotional intelligence at this point in time is very, very key and very, very essential at every level.
Perfect. We have Elisa from the United States that she wants to make a question. So Lisa, you can unmute your mic and please make your question live.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we hear you perfectly.
Okay. Hello. So hello from, I'm Lisa Jones from the US. I have a question for our facility. What about if you have, during this time, some people are going to work and the workers are not showing up to work because they're making excuses for COVID. The morale is really low at work. Everybody's kind of stressed out. Even when you go to the stores, people are, you know, snapping at each other. So if you're a manager and you're in a work environment, how can you help your staff to become you know, better acclimated to their stress levels? What could you do, you know, as a boss or as a manager to help them through, you know, their morale issue?
Oh, that's great. That's a fantastic question that is applicable to everybody at this time at this point in time. Really, see, as a manager, the first weapon that you use to gain the confidence and support of your staff is to show care. In the absence of care, you cannot do anything. You cannot move mountain. The first concept of leadership that I enjoy is to be care. You need to show care to everybody, from the security to the top management. You need to support them. You need to give them that assurance that, look, come what may, we are here for you. You call on us at any point in time, we will be there for you. This is the time to give them additional compensation, pay or whatever, just to appreciate them. Because it's a difficult time for everybody. Nobody wants to come out. And as an organization, you must put in place packages that give them that assurance and confidence that you are really concerned about their health, about their life, and about their livelihood. One, make sure there is a COVID package for the staffs. Two, make sure you get them PPE, necessary personal protective equipment. Make sure it's available, not that they are fighting for it or they are asking for it. It is there for them. If possible, give them 3-3. Let them keep it to them. He knows that is no more a problem to him. He has 3 PPE. He can change as he like, no issue. Once it's finished, come and collect the new one. That is good. Now, at this point in time, if you are paying at the end of the month, you can make it twice per month. Pay by the 15th and pay the second part at the end of the month. They will be very motivated. That is 2. 3, at this point in time, give them regular call. Oh, Rosemary, how are you doing today? Hope you are enjoying your weekend. Do you know he's calling? This is your boss. I'm just checking on you. How are you doing? How is your family? Please stay safe. We care for you. If you don't do that, send message. Send text message. So these are things you need to do. And when they come to work, introduce job rotation. If somebody is working for 8 hours before, at this point in time, just divide it into 2. Come for 4 hours, go back to your home. Let another shift come, rotate like this, it will work and everybody will have confidence in you. Then regularly call them for meeting. Phase 2, call them for meeting. Maintain COVID-19 procedure, social distance, use of PPE. Let them suggest for you. Note it down and put it into practice. Any suggestion, make sure they see it working. If you do like this, they will be, the confidence will be there and they will be ready. If I'm not saying they will be ready to die for the company, but they will be ready to give it all to the company because they know you care and you are there for them.
Lisa, what do you think about that information Dr. Adio gave to you on your question?
Oh, that was fantastic. I mean, I agree with every one of them, and he even gave me more. I mean, the 4-hour shifts where you let them go back and forth, and just calling people and checking on them, it goes a long way. So thank you so much.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
Okay. I have Shaibu that he wanted to make a question. Shaibu, are you there connected? Mr. Shaibu? Go ahead.
You have to unmute. Please unmute yourself.
Yeah, he's on mute, but I think he's having connection issues.
We can't hear you, Shaibu. Maybe try to connect your mic.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, we can hear you.
We can hear you now.
Okay. So I said the presentation was really amazing.
I think this presentation is mainly for Nigerians. I don't take it in a company way. So my question will be based on what is currently going on in my country now. Can you hear me?
Yes, we are hearing you.
Yes.
Yeah. My question will be on what is currently going on in my country now. You made mention of getting the awareness of the warring parties. Then they should abide by law and order. And they should ensure that there's no loss of life and property. Yeah, in a situation whereby, let's say, the leaders of Nigeria now, the youth were protesting peacefully, no harm, nothing, for 2 weeks. And then it comes to a stage whereby those peaceful protesters will now be shot by our soldiers who are there, who are supposed to be there to protect us. In this kind of situation, what advice do you have for the Nigerian youth? Because the stage we are now, it's very obvious that many of us, we are not actually afraid of death anymore. We are tired of what is going on in the country, and we want to give it all to ensure that we restore peace, we restore everything that we have been missing, that rightfully belongs to we, the youth of Nigeria, the youth of the country. So we have many youth out there. I think if you give them advice, it could walk a long way forward.
Yeah. Yeah. Can I go ahead?
Yes, go ahead, Mr. Adio.
Yeah. My brother Tribe, really, I will not tell you, I will not dwell into this question. I will dwell into it for one reason, for the safety of humanity and for the progress of my generation. You understand? See, I have watched, studied what has happened in the couple of weeks in Nigeria with keen interest as a youth leader, as an activist, as a learned fellow, as a father, as just name it, whatever you want to call it. As a Pan-Africanist, I've watched it. Look, we are living in the world of knowledge economy. We are not living in those days again. I will tell you one thing. It is very easy for the youth of Africa or anywhere in the world to take up leadership, not with bullets, not with crisis, not with protests. We need to wear our thinking cap. We need to strategize. I'm telling you, the approach they adopted initially, peaceful protest, is fine and fantastic. But at a point in time, you know, I told you during the course of this presentation that crisis need good management. If you don't manage it very well, ab initio, it will escalate into what you cannot contain. No, see, what I expect them to do is not what they are doing. They have destroyed a couple of things. Some lives have lost. We don't need it. These are preventable. I will give you an example. When there is an election, go and look at it. The youths are on the road playing ball. They are watching TV, sleeping. Go to the polling booth. You only meet aged people, women, queuing there in the run and the sun. Where are you guys? Where are my generations? If you go there, you queue, you fought with them, they know you are serious. That is one. Two, see, those that lead us, they have understand our dynamism. You will fight for them, they will go and represent you, but they know that they will not bring anything back for you. Because in the first instance, they go to bank to borrow money to come and give you. Because you tell them, no, we'll not vote for you, you have to give us money. That is the money they are giving you. Don't expect anything when they get to the position. They will have to take the money and pay the bank back. If you want changes in government, don't collect any dime from anybody. Let them go to hell with their money. What you need is commitment. If you don't collect money from them, they know that election is not about money. And you and me that we don't have anything, we will be able to come out and present ourselves as a better candidate, and the community will not request money from us, and they will only seek for their confidence and their support, and they will support us, and we will go there, and when we get there, we will only make use of what is meant for us, while we are using what is meant for the masses for them, not amassing mass for ourselves or for our family. We will be equal, there will be justice, and there will be fairness to all. So, my brother, we need to think again. Look at it. They banned TVC. They banned NPA, Nigeria Port Authority. They banned the Palace of Akiolo of Lagos. They banned quite a lot of things. Now, if you have to rebuild those things, you know how much it will cost, and you know the time period it will take us. The lives that have lost, we cannot bring them back. They have gone for life. We don't need all those things. We can handle it better. We can use better approach, and that is to be involved and to churn politics of money. If you don't collect money from them, they will be tired and they will know their money is useless. And anybody without anything but has confidence, that is focused, that is transparent and has accountability, can present himself. You don't have to compete with money back that you don't have, because the masses are not requesting for money. So you will have same equal opportunity as they have, because no money is involved, only your integrity.
Thank Mr. Aya for such.
We need to stop it. Sure.
Thank you for your intervention. Such and a very interesting and emotional topic, not only for the people in Nigeria. There is also been some brutality reported in the United States and in other countries, in Europe as well.
Vanessa, please, sorry for stopping you. For instance, look at it. People are manipulating information. There's a lot of misinformation outside there, just to wake up people's emotion, just to change people's thinking. There are a lot of horrible things. Why do we need to do that for humanity's sake, my brother? We don't need it. You don't need to manipulate or tell lie. Okay, they have killed them. This person come. No, I'm not killed. I'm in my sitting room. Oh, they have macheted him. No, I'm not macheted. I'm here. No, I've not been there. Why do we have to tell lie? Only to gain people's sympathy, to destroy our humanity, to destroy our nation, to destroy our future. When you destroy it, when you have the power, who you want to govern?
Yes, it's definitely a very important topic as humanity. And I will add that the most important thing is communication. As we were talking before, when you are having this kind of crisis between home and work, talk to your spouse, to your family, and to your coworkers in terms of empathy regarding the question that Lisa made live. Empathy is really important, not only in work, in family, but with our neighbors, with our community. And I think that's what I make the link with all these problems. A lot of people is getting frustrated and anxious for the situation. A lot of people has lost their work, but going to liberate our frustrations and breaking things down, it's not going to be part of the solution. It's my personal opinion. I think we need to, as humans, try to understand each other, try to communicate, try to listen with empathy, and try to talk with empathy as well. And I think it's, when I talk about communication, it's not just saying things, because part of communication is being informed. And when you're talking about misinformation, we have a responsibility to ourselves to look different sources of information. Sometimes the people we trust and the media we trust may or may not have a different interest, or may not have all the picture. So it is our responsibility to look for information in different sources, even those sources that we don't trust and we don't like, or we are not very aligned with, because that is what is going to make us have a complete and holistic a panel of the situation and a complete photograph of the situation, and then we can make a more informed decision of our ideas, our views, and see how they match with our values. I think for right now, for the world, it's a really important moment for us to breathe, count to 10, even 100 if we need to, before we react. Because even though when we're at home, we are having a lot of information, but we're still home. So it is important we're losing this part of connection with people when we're on the street, when we see the reaction of the people instead of just reading a chat or a Twitter, when we are the ones putting the tone on the communication. So I will say communication and empathy for everyone, and definitely try to tap a little bit in growing our emotional intelligence. Since we have the time for Q&A, it's been up. I thank you all the people that has
Vanessa?
been interviewed from the chat.
Sorry, I think there is Papatunde raised his hand before. I don't know if he has a question.
It was a comment.
Yeah.
Just give me a
Okay.
second.
So,
Yeah, go ahead, Babatunde.
thanks, Engineer Adio, for the wonderful presentation. I think to some extent you've highlighted strategies to implement when it comes to crisis management. But I would like to delve into what Vanessa contributed now. Talks about communication. You see, when it comes to crisis management, we can't displace the importance of communication. And I want to say the lack of communication has actually fueled what is happening in Nigeria today. Aside the ongoing NSAS protests, lately people also discover some how will I say palliatives that was hot in a warehouse, and the government is now coming out to say no. The palliatives was brought in. I mean, last month, last month, which is September, and you see sometimes I feel when the government is not communicating properly to new development taking place in the country, things go out of hand. People don't trust the government. I want to relate what is happening now to Black Lives Matters. You will see on a daily basis, Trumps come out to address the people on the issue on ground. And you see that in Nigeria here, the president was actually, I would like to say, was compelled to even address. And the address doesn't even highlight solutions going forward. In as much we can't but encourage ourselves when it comes to managing crisis individually at corporate level, we must know that communication too is very, very essential. And that is what has actually for what is ongoing now. So secondly, I feel to the best of my knowledge, the impact of the hoodlums taking over the protest is, to me, it's politically indicted, because I feel there are some politicians that are behind this just to deter the intent of the protest. You know, the protest is actually geared towards something. You see now that the properties that has been destroyed is now at the detriment of the citizen, because in the long run now taxes will be increased if eventually the government cannot you know sort out these things. You see, so in the long run now, the protesters are losing to some percentage, because when the taxes increase, things become hard again. You understand? And even the long-awaited minimum wage that was debated is yet to be implemented. So these are things that is happening in this country. I feel it's a wake-up call, and I feel until the government address the issue on ground, things will still continue, because the youth are resolute, and they are so determined to get what they want. Understand? So that's my own little contribution.
Oh, thank you, Mr. Babatunde. That is very fantastic. But the youths, I still maintain my stand. we can retire the old ones if we know what we are doing. If it has been said that the population of the youths in Nigeria or across Africa is 65 compared to the elders. Now, if we said, okay, we want to put the youth there, during the election, present the youths and every youth queue at the back of your youths. Then 65 ratio 40 or whatever, or 35. It doesn't mean there's no way they will do it. We will be there if it is through ballot, if it is not through manipulation. So we have to work on ourselves. We have the future, and the future is here, and we need to take the bull by the horn, and we have to be committed, and we have to shun any form of rascality that can jeopardize our future. We cannot, if whatever we want to achieve, we cannot achieve it through the back door. We have to follow the right process. If we follow the right process with right thinking and commitment, we will get it.
Well, that was a very insightful and very important comments from Babatunde, from Mr. Adio, and all the people that participated. We are going to go for a commercial break, and we will be back really soon. Please stay tuned.
Sorry, we have a small
Apparently, we're having some technical issues. Well, I want to thank Mr. Adio for his participation today while we solve those technical issues with the commercials. Here we go.
Leave me today, I go cry you a river. Hey. No be today, your body they give me fever. I go love you, no stopping. We steady celebrating champagne Bobby. Oh baby, no time to the shake time. Cause now you are the way to. And if you waste time, you go next time. Cause no time to waste. Oh. Baby, I love you. Make you let your people know. Hey, I no go ever let you. You are my lady, hey. Baby, no lie. You are my lady, hey. If you leave me, I don't die. You are my lady, hey. Baby, no lie. You are my lady, hey. If you leave me, I don't die. Ooh, yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So we are reaching the end of this masterclass session. Before I say goodbye to you all, I want to thank Mr. Adio for his for facilitating this session with so very important and interesting information. Definitely, crisis management is not just managing unforeseen event, is preparing for different unforeseen events, not only in the workplace, but also at home in our personal lives. And I think it's a very important information to have, especially in nowadays with the pandemic that we're living worldwide. I want to thank also all the audience for your participation. It was great for the people that speak live and the many comments we got on the chat. I think we have very interesting and insightful information, and a lot of this discussion will go offline with all the information shared today. I will also like to invite you to follow us in our platforms and social media, as well as Mr. Adio, if you want to reach him. And I want to present Mr. Adio with, let me share my screen. It's not letting me share it. I'm having some technical issues here. It's not allowing me to share, but we will present Mr. Adio with a certificate of appreciation for his time and all the information he has presented us today. As I say, these sessions are not possible without the audience. So thank you everybody for connecting with us, for making your questions, for making such a vivid and agreeable conversation today. Please feel free to contact us if you have any topics you want us to discuss. We take in MasterClass initiative and its suggestions, and we would look forward to look and contact with you again in future MasterClasses as we continue to our mission of fostering a global community of enlightened individuals. Don't forget to connect, to follow. If you lose a part of the presentation, you can catch it later in our records on YouTube and Facebook. Now we have some music and entertainment for you. Thank you all, and to the next time. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye, everybody. Bye. Thanks.
Bye.
It's Nike E on the beat.
Hey, this one na Sara Sara. The beat is tarantana. It go make you manya manya. Ines is in manya manya. Oh yeah, make you ricotta, mama Africa ricotta, hey. Make you dance, yeah. Everybody ricotta, mama Africa ricotta, hey. Make you dance, yeah. This one na Sara Sara. The beat is tarantana. It go make you manya manya. Ines is in manya manya. This is for people with chalacha, hey. People with kalaka, hey. Yeah, nandi walanya, hey. Nandi kalanya. It go make you feel better. This can take away palaba. This can take away wahala. It go make you feel Niger. Oh yeah, let's go to Kenya, Rwanda and Tanzania, Togo, Cameroon, Niger, Ghana, Southern Sudan. Oh yeah, make you ricotta, mama Africa ricotta, hey. Make you dance, yeah. Everybody ricotta, mama Africa ricotta, hey. Make you dance, yeah. One Sara le, oh Sara le, make you dance, yeah. Oh Sara le, mama Africa Sara le, make you dance, yeah. This one not die, yo. If you dance some easy, make you no fight, oh. Hey, you go forget your sorrow. Makachuku, you go buy and play for your moto. Oh, hey, this one na Sara Sara. The beat is tarantana. It go make you manya manya. Ines is in manya manya. This is for people with chalacha, hey. People with kalaka, hey. Yeah, nandi walanya, hey. Nandi kalanya. It go make you feel better. This can take away palaba. This can take away wahala. It go make you feel Niger. Oh yeah, let's go to Zambia, Uganda, South Africa, Togo, Cameroon, Burundi, also Benin Republic. Hey, oh yeah, make you ricotta, mama Africa ricotta, hey. Make you dance, yeah. Everybody ricotta, mama Africa ricotta, hey. Make you dance, yeah. One Sara le, oh Sara le, make you dance, yeah. Oh Sara le, mama Africa Sara le, make you dance, yeah. My name is for Sara le, play for mama Sara le, make you dance, yeah. Ukona Sara le, ndi bonine Sara le, make you dance, yeah.
Thank you, everybody, for attending today's masterclass on Africania TV. Hope to see you next week. Thank you. Bye-bye. Have a good weekend.
Bye, Madeleine. Have a good good weekend, everyone. Thanks for all the support. It was great. Till next time, guys.
Tingle down my body, from my head down to my feet. Such a sweet sensation makes me feel so weak.